Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to the February 9th Board of Directors regular meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. And I would like to welcome our Scout troop with the presentation of the flag, presentation of the colors. Come on up. Actually, we're supposed to... Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, ladies. And would you mind coming to the microphone along with your Scout leaders and introducing yourselves? We'd greatly appreciate that. The tall gentleman right there will help you.
I'm Melissa.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Sierra.
Hi, Sierra.
And I'm Leanne Bromley. I'm standing in for Nakia while she's out on maternity leave. Hopefully she'll be back in a couple months.
Thank you. And your troop is?
These are from different areas.
Oh.
Tell them where you're from. Come on.
I'm from Antelope Troop 2615.
Okay.
I'm from Antelope and I'm a Juliet.
I'm from South Sacramento and Troop 963.
All right. Thank you very much. Can we give them a round of applause? Please be seated. All right. We have our Metro Cable announcement. Open session meeting is a videotape for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Saturday, February 11th at 1 p.m. and Monday, February 13th at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast www.sacmetrocable.tv. And a DVD copy is also available for checkout from any library branch. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.sacmetrofire.ca.gov. Next, we have the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest with the district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. I have one speaker, Mr. Roger Mitchell. Welcome to the podium.
Madam President, board members, Chief Hinkie, staff, I come before you tonight just informationally for you. I've already given Chief Hinkie a package as well as Charlotte. With your permission, Madam Chair, I would approach the dais to give each one of you a copy of some information, then I'll take just a couple of minutes to explain it to you.
No, see no objections, go ahead, or we can pass it. You can hand it to Director Malkin. Oh, should we put a rope up? Yeah. Thanks.
What you have before you, the first portion, that's a cover page to the Northern California Regional Group of the Horses Carriage Club. This board and administration allowed us to use your name at a fundraiser. It was called Sac Metro Fire's Fire Chiefs Award at an antique car show. And there's an article in there about that car show and about the car that won that award. Chief Hinkie was graceful enough to send a representative. He was very busy that day, and we understand that. So there's an article about who presented it in the car that won. Secondly, you will find reprinted from this document. It's about the car that won, really. It's a reprint. It was a 1914 Mitchell Speedster. certainly no relation to myself. I wish it was. That being said, the gentleman that owns the car that won that award, I think I'd like to say just a couple of words. 95 years young, but about 65 years ago when I was a teenager, the gentleman had a history of helping work on Old Betsy, Rio Linda's first fire truck. Helped the chief then, Chief Les Crane, and my dad, Dick Mitchell, work on the truck, and actually donated a complete rear end as spare parts. So kind of apropos that the first time we had this fundraiser that someone had a history of helping, years ago, and his car. Also, you will see that article. I'll quickly tell you, he was in a one-lap race at the Indianapolis Speedway and won. So you'll see there's the article there. We'll tell you about that. Mark Glover, it's a repeat of an article in the Sacramento Bee, I believe, in 2007. So that's for your reading pleasure. Thirdly, you'll find a brochure from the Rio Linda Alberta Park District. Normally, they send it out 2 or 3 times a year just to tell their constituents what they're doing, and you'll find about a half-page ad in that brochure about the restoration of Rio Linda's second fire truck and your efforts to help us with the station. And third but not last, when Chief Hinkie spoke at our last meeting about the opportunity that he came to at before our last meeting, Chief, it was a reception for Roberta McGlashan, our new supervisor. And I was asked to write an article again in the Brass Nuts, and what we can tell you is you have an article before you. That's the fourth article, but someone picked it up, and I don't know who, but long story short, it's going to be published nationally. So you're going to be getting some recognition on a national basis for what you're doing to help with the old station in Rio Linda. And then the Horses Carriage Clubs also contacted me, and they want some type of an article to put in their national magazine. Now that, just because you write the article certainly doesn't mean it'll be published, but if it is, this district along with the Park District in Rio Linda and all the volunteers are going to get some additional national recognition. So thank you for your time this evening, and I'm certainly answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Appreciate the presentation. All right, now we have a great opportunity for some awards via Fire Chief Hinkie. We have a life-saving commendation and an award of excellence. Chief, I'll turn it over to you.
It's a little unusual to try to do it in this boardroom because the board's behind you, and it's never a good idea to turn your back on your bosses. But I'll give it a try. I'd like to have Brandon Green come up here and join me. On February 4th, 2011, Metro Fire Units responded to 7575 Madison Avenue for a reported fall of an 86-year-old female. Paramedic Engine 21 arrived on scene to find the patient in cardiac arrest and receiving CPR from a bystander, Mr. Brandon Green. Medic 21 arrived a minute later and assessed the scene. Firefighter paramedics continued CPR and shocked the patient once. At that point, it was decided to use Metro Fire's new Lucas device. The Lucas device is a mechanical CPR device used by firefighters, which you'll be receiving information about later, and I believe it's sitting up there on the podium. The patient regained pulses after being moved to Medic 21, but was still unconscious. The patient was transported to Mercy One Hospital. And what's really special about that is that patient is here tonight, and I'd ask her to stand. The patient's name is Edna Seeger. I think we ought to give her a big round of applause. And we are so happy that you are here tonight and able to make it down. And I certainly hope that when I'm 30 like you are, I'm in as good a shape. So we are very glad that you are doing well. We attribute her recovery, however, to the quick actions of Brandon Green, the teamwork provided by Engine and Medic 21, and the use of the Lucas device. And with that, Mr. Green, it is with great honor that I present you this certificate for life-saving commendation. The commendation is for extraordinary efforts to protect and preserve human life on February 4th, 2011. If we could get Edna up here and take a picture, that would be terrific. And do we have the crews here? No? Okay. That is just terrific. Okay. Do you want to say anything?
I was asked on the way over here if I had a speech prepared, and I said no. But how can I turn down an opportunity to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to Brandon? He gave me a right to life for one more year, and I'm here to give him the credit, together with the battalion, the men of the unit that came to assist him and help me, help my family on the way. I was 5 days unconscious in the hospital, but here I am, and they can't keep a good Dane down, you know.
That is just great. Wow.
As I alluded to earlier, in regards to this field save, it also is attributed to the fact that we have what's called the Lucas device. In July of 2011, Metro Fire Units responded to a fire at PCS LLC in Rancho Cordova. Regional Vice President Gary Kruger was on site at the time and had personal contact with the firefighters to help mitigate the incident. It should also be noted that so was Director Monk from Aerojet. It should be noted that effective communication between the staff at the facility and the firefighters provided the teamwork necessary for a quick resolution to the incident. This was a hazardous materials incident in a facility that is very well run, a great business in the community, and every once in a while, even in the finest run establishments, which this is, you have accidents that happen through no fault of anybody. There's a very well run company. After the incident, Mr. Kruger was very appreciative of the service Metro Fire provided and offered to make a donation. Mr. Kruger was told that this was absolutely not necessary, although he felt strongly about it. Metro staff discussed the idea of PSC LLC providing the firefighters and the public a device that would save lives and keep firefighters from getting hurt. It was decided that Metro Fire would ask PSC LLC to consider donating a Lucas device. So at this point in the program, I'll let Rick Maloney describe to the public and the Board of Directors the Lucas device.
Chief Henke wanted me to come and briefly explain what this device is, and it's very simple. It's an automated CPR device. It does chest compressions. As simple as that may sound, it's a great device. And to give you a little demonstration, all they do is turn it on. They actually take the suction device, put it down on the patient's chest, and then they hit go. It looks very, very simple, but I'm going to show you a couple of sides to actually explain why this is not. Typically what will occur in most cardiac arrest is that you do manual CPR. Sometimes it's not deep enough, sometimes it's not fast enough. Many times when you have to move the patient, you have to stop CPR. You put them on the gurney, you have to stop CPR. You go down a hallway, you have to stop CPR. And this is not good for the patient. I have a couple of slides here, hopefully that will show you why. In 2010, October, Metro Fire conducted a study. This study was performed by engineer-paramedic Eric Kellenberger. He obtained 3 Lucas devices at no cost to the district. He placed them at stations 21, 53, and 61. We anticipated these devices to do slightly better than what we do. This next slide will tell you exactly how that was. In 2009, for every patient that was in cardiac arrest, approximately 16% of the patients actually got pulses back, which is called return to spontaneous circulation. In 2010, 2 new guidelines came out. We had district-wide training. We increased our return of pulses in patients in cardiac arrest to 22%. Later that year in October, we started the study. We had 28 patients that were entered into it. Of those 28, 50% of the patients had return to spontaneous circulation. Take a look up there, and what I have is we use LifePak 12s on all our patients. It's a monitor defibrillator. We can actually download and look at the quality of chest compressions. Those red ticks you see represent an adequate chest compressions. Where you don't see a red tick, what that represents is either we were not pushing deep enough or we had to stop because we were going through a doorway, getting the patient off the bed, moving them through a doorway, putting them in the ambulance, out of the ambulance, or placing them onto the gurney of the hospital. In this particular patient, we did regain pulses, and the ratio of compressions was about 60% of the time. So that meant 40% of the time, the patient didn't have pulses. On the next slide, you will see what occurs when we have the Lucas device. You can see the red ticks, and about 96% of the times for this patient, chest compressions were being done. What this means is we will have more lives saved, and because the firefighters are not having to do chest compressions in a moving ambulance or trying to do it quickly, running alongside the gurney, we will improve their safety and decrease injuries. Chief?
As we can see, tonight we kind of have the full enchilada here with somebody that benefited from this device personally, the firefighters that were able to use it, and really importantly, there's just not the revenue nowadays to go out and buy a bunch of devices like this and put them on our rigs. So we have a private industry, a company from the private sector that reached down and sat there and said, we want to help out. So with that, I would like to have Mr. Gary Kruger, Mr. Tom Poliquin, and Mr. George Walker please come up front.
Unfortunately, Mr. Kruger is not here. My name is Tom Poliquin.
I'm Justin Pickenstead.
Well, gentlemen, as the fire chief of Metro Fire and on behalf of the board of directors, I want to personally thank you for the generous donation of the Lucas device. Your donation will in fact keep firefighters safe, but it will also save many lives. For your donation, I would like to present you and your organization, PCS LLC, this award of excellence. And this is an award in recognition of your donation and the difference that it's going to make not only to Edna out there, which it already did, but to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people throughout the Sacramento region that we service every day that will benefit from this device as we move forward. So with that, congratulations. Thank you for being such a private sector champion of helping the public safety.
Hear, hear.
I'd like to just take a moment and just say a few things. We've had the opportunity to meet some of your uniformed personnel, distinguished people, on a couple of occasions now. And it is not what we profess to want to do on a daily basis. However, we want to just say, in regards to your comment earlier about your back to your bosses, I would like to take a moment and just tell all of you, distinguished board members, that this group of firefighters that you have are head and shoulders above anything we've ever experienced or seen before. I've spent a long time with this company, 22 years, excuse me, in various locations throughout the country, and I can attest to the fact that these guys are on their game. You got one of the best teams going.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And Ed, do you want to come up and get in here since you really led to this whole challenge, if you don't mind?
Or you guys could step back.
This is part of your exercise today. I'm sure the cardiac doctor was saying that.
You can come right over here with me, Ed. No problem. So glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you, fellas, all of you.
Glad to have you still with us.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Chief.
All right, thank you. And if you didn't get a picture, I saw the lady taking a picture, we'll make sure you talk to Chief Cockrum here, who's right here, and he'll make sure he gets you a picture of that.
Thank you.
That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, honored guests, and Rick Maloney. Thank you so much for the entire presentation. All right, we'll move, Chair will entertain a motion for consent calendar.
So move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Directors Monk,
Aye.
Gould,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Orzali,
Aye.
Newcomer,
Aye.
Scheidegger,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Pearson,
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. At this point in time, we'll move to closed session to talk about the two items. Is that?
I was thinking
have
that maybe
the order?
what we might want to do is the presentation item. Are the audit people on a time crunch here?
Oh, that's right, we have those.
Pardon me?
We have those.
Yes,
Okay.
they are. President Jones, if we could take that under presentation items on the audit first, then I think at that point we
All
could go
right.
to closed
In the
session.
interest of our speakers' time, we will invite Ms. McFarland, Ms. Sheplin, and Mr. Richardson back to the podium. They did give us a precursor here in the Finance Committee, and we appreciate it. Welcome once again. We are now on presentation item number 1.
Rhonda McFarland, Auditor Controller. We have here our guests are our auditors from Richardson and Company, Ingrid Shipline and Joe Richardson. But before I have them come forward and share with you the results of the audit, I would just like to tell you how pleased the Finance Division is to have the audit complete and to have an opinion that is now unqualified for the first time in several years. And when we have an audit done, it really does take a big effort on behalf of the finance team to be able to support the auditors in an efficient manner. And I would just like to recognize the members of the Finance Division that are here at our meeting. If you wouldn't mind standing. This is our finance team, and I just want to thank you guys for being here and for all your hard work on the audit.
All right, let's give a hand. Thank you.
And I will let our auditors continue here with the presentation.
Well, to give you an overview of what we did, this is the third audit we've completed for the district. In that time, the first audit covered 4 fiscal years, and the last 2 audits covered 1 each. The audits are now caught up, which is quite an accomplishment for the district and its staff. As a result of and as mentioned, we now have a clean opinion. In the past, the first year we had qualified for capital assets and inventory. Second year we qualified for inventory. Now there's no qualification. There's 4 reports issued as a result of our audit, the audited financial statements and our opinion on those financial statements. There's an appropriations limit testing report issued, a required communications letter in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, and an internal control letter with findings and recommendations.
I'd also like to point you to the one-page summary that really hits the highlights of the audit. And we did have a discussion, presentation earlier to the Finance Committee, so I'm just going to hit high level and go with any questions you might have. On the financial statements themselves for the year ended June 30, 2011, the district did have a net loss for the year of $21 million. The cumulative net loss, or the negative unrestricted net assets, as of June 30, 11, that's a accumulation of all the losses over the years, is at $40 million. Most of that accumulation occurred in fiscal year 11 and fiscal year 10. The management discussion analysis in the document discusses a little bit more about those trends. Really, the last couple of years, because of the declining property tax revenue and the increasing costs, has led to a pretty significant deficit these last 2 years. So as far as financial...
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Exactly what page are you on? You said there's an overview. I'm trying to find it here real quick.
There's an overview starting on page 3 of the document that's called the Audited Financial Statements. And I won't go over it in any detail, but if you were to weed through these documents, the best thing to read would be starting on page 3, highlights the financial situation of the district. In particular, the numbers that I was quoting are on pages 18 and 20. Page 20 showing the net loss of $20.7 million. Page 18 showing the cumulative 39.7 of cumulative loss. I wasn't going to make any other comments on the financial statements unless there's questions, but go into the internal control report and the findings. The internal control letter contains almost all of the findings that we had in the fiscal year 10 and also the fiscal year 9 report because of the short period of time over which those last 6 years of audits were completed. The report for the first audit where those items were identified wasn't issued until fiscal year 2011 had actually started. So it really didn't give staff and management sufficient time to implement any new accounting processes. 2 items had been addressed during the year. 1 is in process. While the district has been making improvements in the internal control processes, there's still much work that needs to be done to implement these various findings that we have in the report. A lot of these findings stem from the inadequacy of the county system to maintain the accrual basis of accounting, which required us to make 192 adjustments to the county numbers to get to these financial statements that we're presenting before you. So that's part of our recommendation, is for the district to implement the processes in order to have good internal financial reporting system, the use of the Eden system to do its full accrual closing entries. We did assist the district this year and in past years with the closing entries. The goal of management this coming year is to endeavor that on their own for fiscal year 2012. So we wouldn't be doing the entries, but just doing the audit. If there's any, I'd like to open up to any questions you might have, or I don't know if management wants to make any further comments.
Questions from fellow directors? Director Gould?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There we go. I think it's important to recognize that your work's been important too. I know that you guys have come before this board several times and helped the team get to where we're at tonight, an unqualified audit. And that's quite an accomplishment for the administration and this board as well. We've been dragging these audits on for a while, and they've been qualified, as you've mentioned. And tonight we're at a pretty good place for Metro Fire to have this unqualified. And I just wanted to thank all of you, because I know our internal team does a nice job, but it's always nice to have you on board and your team on board to help us kind of wade through that. So thank you very much for your efforts as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll have Director Rosali and then the chief.
Only one. I want to also thank you for this work. And Chief, let me make a suggestion that in that list of key events, that this would certainly qualify as one of those things to be noted.
So noted. I'll make sure that happens. President Jones, Board of Directors, I'd just like to make a few comments. One, Richardson and Company has been phenomenal for us to work with, and I too say thank you for hanging with us over the last 2 years that I've been here to get things turned around. Clearly, having a cooperative partner in the county and with a different accounting system and everything made everything difficult, and going back 4, 5, 6 years, so to speak. But tonight, I think part of one of those key events that'll be noted is it's at least my distinct honor and pleasure to announce that after a nationwide search, I have appointed Rhonda McFarland as a Chief Financial Officer for the district. I can tell you that we received 22 applicants from across the country. Nothing to take away from those applicants, but it wasn't even close with the amount of government experience that was demonstrated. And the second issue with that is that it's kind of like getting to eat the pie before you have to buy it. We got to watch for the last 5 months Ms. McFarland, along with her staff, really have to do some heavy lifting to turn things around. So I think it's incredibly important that Ms. McFarland's on board as the CFO. This is going to allow her in the next month or so to go out with a national recruitment for an auditor controller, which is a position that's budgeted but not filled. I think that is going to lead us down the right path to try to get the fiscal accounting process in order. And we, of course, are going to keep Mr. Campo on working on the big issues of breaking away from the county, utilizing the accounting system, the Eden system that we have, which really can be a one-stop shop to move the district forward and not having to have 2 sets where you have Eden and Compass. And that's a lot of stuff. I know that Ms. McFarland has told you before that she's going to bring quarterly reports to this board and to the Finance Committee in regards to the progress that's made on these internal issues that we are resolving even as we sit here tonight. And last but not least, though I compliment the leadership in Richardson and Company, I can tell you that the management team would say it's short of absolutely outstanding and amazing. The turnaround and the quality of individuals that we have in our finance division who are here tonight have done an outstanding job in some very difficult times over the last year to year and a half, and have really pulled together under Ms. McFarland's leadership and working as a team. And I'm very encouraged about what you're going to see in the future. So with them, I'd just like to give Rhonda and her team and Mr. Campo a great round of applause from us for all they've done.
All right. Were there any other further comments or questions by the directors? If not, thank you very much once again. Appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. At this point, we will move to closed session. We have 2 items. We are adjourned to closed.